Welcome to Radically Rewired, the show where I fuse science and spirituality to give tangible tips to feel more confident, get more clarity, and live your most authentic and fulfilling life. I'm your host, Nicole Novoselsky, a former 9-to-5 desk job gal turned traveling entrepreneur, energy healer, and brain hacking yogi. This podcast is all about how to stop going through the motions and make the most of your human experience here on this earth. So let's learn how to get radically rewired.
So I am still here in San Marcos La Laguna in Guatemala. I tried to leave, I'm telling you, but it is a vortex, okay? And I'm probably gonna be here another 2 weeks before I go on to my next adventure. So if you haven't experienced this lake magic, I highly recommend it. And again, you might hear the waves, but I hope that sends you all of the calming vibes. In today's episode, we're going to talk all about decision making and how to use your inner guidance. As someone who is incredibly indecisive, but also incredibly intuitive, I want to shine light on the experiences that have led me to be more in my own power. So this episode is a great counterpart to my previous episode on intuition. If you're wanting to learn more about intuition, I recommend you check out that episode too. Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Well, if you're feeling pulled in tons of different directions, or you're simply just not sure which direction to go, then this episode is for you. It's actually comical looking back and seeing how much I needed outside opinions to help guide my life. Still to this day, I catch myself asking people to help me make my own decisions as if they know me better than me. Anyone else do this? I am raising a hand. Maybe you feel this way too. I thought that someone knew the golden answer that would be the missing piece to solving all of my life's problems. And if I really sat with myself, I knew deep down what felt good and what I needed. But I was so disconnected from that part of me that I would immediately run to other people and get their opinions in order to make the quote unquote right decision. But is there a right decision? How do we know which decision to make? Because if someone else told me what to do and it didn't work out, then it wouldn't really be wrong. I wouldn't be wrong. It wasn't my fault it didn't work out because I listened to someone else. I was so dysregulated that I wanted someone else to regulate me in all areas of my life, in my relationships, in my business, in my own habits. I felt like a plastic bag drifting through the wind. Yes, I just quoted Katy Perry's song Firework, but that's literally how I felt. I was just like going throughout life, not sure where to go, and I would be pulled in so many different directions, listening to so many different people. So I want to talk today about the best advice I've gotten about decision making and the golden rule about how to make decisions, okay? Let's talk about it. So, have you ever had one person tell you something and you got so excited and then you told someone else about what this person said and then they would tell you to do something different and they would counter that opinion and give you something else and then you'd be left so confused of like, wow, I have so many different opinions. Which one is right? What is the right decision? Don't get me wrong. Taking advice from someone you trust and from someone who is doing what you want to be doing can be a total step in the right direction. Of course, we don't know what we don't know. And actually, working with mentors who know more in a specific area and who are embodying and living a life that you want to be living is indispensable. That has helped me immensely in getting to my goals and living the life that I want to live. It's like a fast track to get you to where you want to be with the right support. It's a beautiful thing. However, dun, 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 there's always a caveat because it's so important to always tune back into yourself and see how the advice sits with you. How does it resonate? There are certain circumstances where taking cookie cutter advice is like, boom, that's the magic tool to get you to where you want to be. However, there's always nuances. And with the energetics of everything, if you're only doing something because someone told you it's going to make you money or it's going to make you happy, but it maybe isn't of your own highest values, then it's not going to work out the same way for you. We actually are all so different with so many different things swirling around in our own lives. And so we might need something different to magnetize what it is that we truly want. So always take advice with a grain of salt. Even take this advice with a grain of salt. If this is not resonating with you, that is okay. And if it is, and if you're like, yes, I get what she's saying, then great, stay here. Let's hang out. Love it. Let's get into my soulful saga time. So after I made the intuitive decision to quit my job, pack up my bags, and take a one-way flight to Bali, Indonesia, I was then faced with more enormous decisions, because once you make a decision, it just snowballs and you're constantly making more decisions. So when COVID hit, my plan of teaching English in the classroom was no longer an option. And in my opinion, this was such a blessing in disguise so that I could focus more on the projects that were in my heart that I was so excited about, like building my own business. However, the thing is, I knew nothing about building my own business. And I didn't even have a clear idea about what the heck my business would be. I was just like, I just want to share my life and my travels and my yoga journey and all these things. The issue was that I was like a chicken with my head cut off, getting advice from literally anyone that wanted to put their 2 cents in. And let me tell you, a lot of people want to put their 2 cents in, okay? I was getting advice from strangers that I had just met that were like, you should do this, you should do that. And of course, if you ask 100 different people, you're probably going to get 100 different answers. The opinions and advice I got were so conflicting, so I was always in conflicted mode on what to do, and I didn't know how to go forward. A lot of people put their own conditioning on us of what they would do in our situation, but that doesn't mean that we need to do exactly what they would do. A lot of times we don't listen to our intuition because we are so caught up in what society wants from us, what other people want from us, going out of our comfort zone and going against the grain. But if that's intuitively what you want, then you have to sit with yourself and see how you can make the leap, take the jump. And maybe you do get advice from someone who has taken the jump, right? So it all depends on coming back to yourself. Unfortunately for me, I had to learn the hard way. I listened to advice from people that I didn't even really vibe with. I just saw their success and I wanted it. But the way that they were going about gaining their success, and when I spent time with these people, I didn't even resonate with them. I was like, I don't really like the way that they're going about this. But for some reason, I still was forcing myself to go full speed ahead because logically my mind wanted it. And I got burned many a times. I took on projects and did work exchanges with people because I thought it would move me forward to that coveted success that I wanted. But really, I was just neglecting a part of me that actually knew the answer. And so is there something in your life where you truly know the answer to it, but there's fear or there's stress or there's anxiety about it? And that's okay. Let the fear and the stress come up and feel it. Let it sit there for a minute. Let it boil up, let it ruminate so that you can feel that, and then you can continue to make your decision moving forward. I felt constantly overwhelmed and dysregulated because I wasn't listening to myself. The only way forward is to sit with yourself so that you don't wake up again and end up on a pathway that you're like, whoa, this is what someone else wanted for me. This is not what I wanted. And so when you come back to yourself, the answers are inside of you. As cliche as that sounds, you get to see how the information feels in your body. Remember, people can be messengers, of course. Sometimes it can be hard to hear our own inner voice. And we meet people who give us a message, and then we hear that message and we're like, oh yeah, right, yes, that's exactly what I should do. Or we hear that message and we're like, wait, no, that is not what I want to do at all. So it's up to us to discern if this person's a messenger or if it's a check-in to see if it's what we really want. So we have to tune into our bodies and see how this makes us feel. See how the advice sits with us. Is it an F yes? Is it an F no? Or is it a maybe? If you haven't done so already, I highly recommend checking out the yes-no meditation in my previous episode to help you tune into your body to understand yourself better of which direction it is that you want to go. Now for this episode, we're going to talk about some of the best advice I received about decision making. And that is, of course, the golden rule is that only you truly know. Only you know the complete nuances of the situation you're in, and other people are coming from their own experiences. So it's so important to nourish yourself, come back to that basic self-care in order to get a clear mind and clear heart to tune in and see what it is that you want. And if you don't clearly know, here is part 2 of the advice, okay? When in doubt, do nothing. Pause. Wait until you get that knowing that it is indeed time to act. Now, here's the thing. So many people don't act, and so many people stay in this gray area where they do nothing. That is not what I want you to do. I don't want you to do nothing for years and years and years because we're afraid and you're like, well, I didn't have that clarity and Nicole told me it's fine. No, sometimes we force ourselves to make a decision because we're worried. It's like a place of anxiety. It's a place of stress. It's a place of, I got to make a decision. I got to do something. We want to make a decision from a clear place of knowing. Now, sometimes there's never the right time to act. We always say, do it scared, do it messy. And so you'll know if you've been spinning your wheels for a really long time and you know in your heart that you need to move forward and you need to take action, but you're just not doing it because you're scared or there's anxiety or stress. In that moment, then I would say, okay, boom, go for it. You know, you have that knowing, just do it, right? Pull off the Band-Aid and go for it. However, if you're forcing something upstream and you're making a decision because you feel like you have to, then I would pause. When in doubt, do nothing. When I've been unclear, I feel in my body that I need more information in order to make a decision. So I'm not just making a snap decision because I feel forced to. I'm pausing because the clarity hasn't come in yet. And so I wait. Not years, okay? We wait and we ask for more information to come in and to show us, to help us give clarity on this decision. For example, I was dating a guy that I was unsure about, and we had a lovely relationship and we had a connection, but I couldn't put my finger on why it didn't feel fully right. And every day I was like, should I stay with him or should I do my own thing? And it was never clear because I was learning a lot from that relationship and I was actually really enjoying my time with him. And so let me preface that it was a safe relationship and there was no harm in staying. If you're in a dangerous relationship or situation where it is harming you to stay, then waiting might not be the right answer. It may be more important to act immediately, but then we go to the golden rule of only you will really know the answer. Only you can truly decide what is right for you and get the support that you need. But when I was dating this guy, I had no clear-cut answer. It wasn't like, you gotta leave, or you should fully go all in and stay. And I was so in my head. And so 3 months later, I just asked, I kept being like, please keep giving me that clarity, but in the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy my time and learn the lessons that I'm going to learn. And 3 months later, my body completely shut down. I woke up one day and I just knew. I knew it wasn't right for me, and I was grateful for the times and experiences we shared together, but I could no longer continue on. And I'd gotten more information, more and more and more information over the 3 months, and then I finally came to the conclusion that we were not meant to be together. It was a lovely chapter, but then I had a deep, deep knowing that this chapter was over and it was time for the next. So when you establish a practice of carving out time to sit with yourself and connect to yourself on a deeper level, you'll start to be more in tune with your body. And again, you keep getting more and more information until you have that moment of, yep, okay, yes, I gotta go. Little light bulb moments of which direction to go will spark up. Even my travel plans. I was trying to force my travel plans to go to Colombia for the past month, and I had no clarity. I didn't know what to do. I was kind of freaking out. It was a place of fear and stress. And then literally today, this is so, synchronistic that I'm doing this podcast episode today, because today I had all of the downloads, all of the knowing that there's a certain flight I need to book. There's a certain place that I need to stay. It all came up for me within my budget, the exact right date, the exact right time. And it was because I'd gotten more and more information about certain things that I'd wanted to do. So I had a knowing not to book it. And for some reason, nothing felt right. And then today, everything felt right and aligned. And I just booked it all. So I will be going to Colombia soon. But that's the thing. It's like sometimes I try to force so hard. We try so hard to force and put the puzzle into place. And sometimes that piece doesn't fit, and that's okay. And just sitting in the patience of the present moment and trusting that the more information will come in and you will be able to make your decision. You'll get clarity on who to reach out for help or advice or what to do that day, or maybe you get no clarity, which is also clarity of simply not making any drastic moves until you have the clarity. But I don't want us to fall into the trap. There is a fine line, and I'm going to say this again. There's a fine line of waiting and 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 waiting until you get some kind of clarity. And then there's a fine line of just waiting for a little bit more information to tune into the body and then feel what it is to then make the decision. If it doesn't feel right, but you're making the decision anyways, that's probably a sign that you're forcing it, because you will know what will actually feel right for you. It's a beautiful dance of checking in with yourself and how you're feeling. Often I've put people on pedestals thinking that people with more experience, more knowledge, more money know way better than me. And time again, it's like the Wizard of Oz. Have you seen the Wizard of Oz? There's a point in the movie, well, the whole movie really is about Dorothy going to the wizard. She puts all of her faith in this wizard, thinking that he will have all of the advice to solve all of her problems. And he's seen as this grandiose, all-knowing wizard. And then it's this whole journey of her going to the wizard. And she gets to the wizard. And she's so excited, and she's like asking these questions of, how can I get back to Kansas? And the little dog, Toto, pulls back the curtain and simply shows this normal-looking human man just pretending to be this great wizard. And this has happened to me so many times. I put people on pedestals just to realize that they are, in fact, human too. And the only person that really truly knows the answers is you. And it's all within you when you quiet down and listen. And other people are just reflections to come back to ourself. When you get advice from other people, it's just a reflection to sit with whatever it is they're telling you. When it feels fuzzy and unclear, give it time and space to let the murky waters disperse. And you can find that clarity that you really truly need to make whatever decision you're trying to make. Because I'm all about mindset, energetics, and the science behind it all, let's talk about decision making in the brain in our next segment called Neuro Nugget. Welcome to our Neuro Nugget segment, where we unravel the mysteries and the intricacies of the brain. I love nerding out in this segment and tying in how we can fuse science and spirituality together in order to live a life that is more fulfilling, exciting, and full of bliss. So today, we're putting the spotlight on the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. That is a mouthful. So we're going to affectionately call it the decision director of the brain, or my fave, the DLPFC. DLPFC. So what is the DLPFC, the decision director? It lives at the front and the sides of our brain, and it takes in so much information from all the other parts of the brain. It's like carefully sifting through all of the information, all of the signals that you're getting to help you make decisions. So imagine this brain region as your personal assistant. It's your personal assistant who's looking at your calendar and scheduling meetings and looking at all of the information and all of the people you need to talk to and all the tasks you have to do. And then it's planning your day, scheduling your day out carefully so that it runs smoothly and that you are optimized doing the best that you can do. That's what the DLPFC is doing too. It's responsible for reasoning, problem solving, and of course, decision making. So when we're faced with choices, our DLPFC, our frontal and lateral brain, is springing into action. It's evaluating our options, it's considering our consequences, and it's also juggling the pros and cons of each decision. So you might feel like, whoa, the brain is working, but also coming back to the heart and letting the heart help us make the decision as well. If you're anything like me, decision making isn't always a walk in the park, because you might feel like, okay, well, this is a great option and this is a good option too. And oh my gosh, there's so many good options. What do I do? Or there's so many bad options. And then how do I pick the lesser of the evils, right? I want to nerd out for a hot minute and dive into indecision, the science behind indecision. If you've ever felt stuck in the loop of uncertainty, it's because the DLPFC is burdened with so many options or unclear consequences. It's like dining at Cheesecake Factory where they have that huge menu and you're like, there are so many options, how do I decide? Versus if there's one item on the menu, you'd be like, yep, okay, I'm gonna have that. It just takes that decision making away. But when we're burdened with so many choices, there's too many complexities at play, then we become indecisive. And of course, we also have a backstage player that's called the amygdala. And we've talked about the amygdala before in previous podcast episodes. And the amygdala is responsible for emotional fear responses. The fear of regret is deeply rooted in the amygdala. It's like FOMO. We're like, oh, are we gonna regret this? Are we gonna regret missing out? Or are we actually gonna enjoy that we missed out? It can paralyze our decision making, which can trap us into a loop of indecision. So it's like tug of war between the brain's desire for certainty and the fear of making the wrong choice. However, there is no wrong choice when you keep tuning into yourself. And whatever decision you make, as long as you go full force into that decision, then you make that decision, then you get to decide, okay, do I like this decision or not? Then you get to make another decision. It's like we're so scared about taking that first step and like all the things that are gonna come after that we don't even take the first step. But if you can listen to yourself and take that first step, then all of the other things you get to decide along the way. Being present in your decision making can help ease the fear. So next time you're caught in indecision's web, no, it's not just you. The brain is having an intricate internal battle. So what the heck can you do if you're tangled in this web of indecision? Let's hop on into our next segment called the brain hack of the day. Brain hack of the day. So I've been using this technique for a while now, but I never had a fancy name for it. I simply called it the value goal audit, but then I wanted something more fresh and fun. So ChatGPT helped me come up with the good old Mind Compass Calibration. We're going to talk about the MCC. As you can tell in this episode, I love to abbreviate things. We have the DLPFC and we have the MCC. What is the MCC? In order to help you with decisions, it's important to connect with your deepest values. What are you wanting out of life? Do the actions align with your values of where you're trying to go? Tuning back into your values and then asking, does this action align with where I'm wanting to go in my life, or is it distracting me and taking me away from my mission and my vision? So envision a compass in your mind And then think about the decision. Is this decision helping you embody the person you want to be? How does it feel in your body to think about the decision? Then taking a pause and giving yourself space and time to sit with the decision can help confirm your direction. Really taking some time to think about where it is you want to go, who it is you want to be, and then are the people in your life helping you get you there? Are the actions you're doing every single day helping get you there? Are the words or the thoughts that you're saying helping to get you there? Or are you simply just kind of taking all these different paths that other people want for you and they're not really what you want? So sitting with your values is super, super important to calibrate to where you want to go. So I would recommend after this episode, taking a moment to write out what your values are. And then from there, you can then make some goals and make some decisions about where it is you want to go. If you're wanting help with this, I have specifically created a free mini course all about helping you align your values with your goals, and it's called Propel to Your Path. It is currently free. I cannot promise that it will be free forever because there is so much gold in these trainings that I've created. So you'll definitely want to hop on this now, and it's free. So you might as well. You can sign up using the link in the description to help you align your values with your goals to propel you onto your most aligned path. So that's in the description. Can't wait to have you apply and see you in the free mini course. Additionally, if you're wanting to work with me, I mentioned that there's the Freedom Fast Track and the VIP Freedom Fast Track Accelerator. These are my programs where I work with you and I coach you, whether that's in group or one-on-one, and we get you to where you want to go to make the most out of your time here on Earth. We get you some more clarity, we get you some more peace, and we start to rewire your brain in order to feel more fulfilled in your life. So check out the Freedom Fast Track membership. I also have limited space in my VIP Freedom Fast Track Accelerator where I work with you one-on-one to guarantee you to get ya to where you want to go. So I can't wait to work with you. Definitely check those out. So as always, we've covered a lot. So let's recap it up. Fulfillment Fast Track. The best advice I've ever gotten was to tune back into myself, and when in doubt, do nothing. So it's inner guidance over external noise. Trust your gut feeling, even in the chaos of external advice. People are always going to offer guidance, but your compass is going to point you to your true north. So tune back into yourself always. The Wizard of Oz, no pedestals. Instead of putting people on a pedestal, can you remember that we're all human and you are the only one who really truly knows the nuances of a situation? So take advice from mentors, 100%. It's so helpful to get the roadmap to get you to where you want to be because they've already made the mistakes and all these things. However, not just blindly taking advice and really taking it on, sitting with how it feels for you, and then changing it up a little bit so it fits your specific path. And again, the golden rule, tuning into you. And then the second part, when in doubt, do nothing. Only you truly understand your unique circumstances. And so when you're uncertain, take a little pause, take a hot minute, and ask for more guidance, ask for more information so that you have a moment of clear knowing of when to act. So I'm not saying do nothing forever. Of course, start the business, run the marathon, take the flight, take the leap, book the vacation, do whatever it is you want to do, but also do it from a place where you're not forcing something upstream. It's from this place of deep, clear knowing. And maybe there's fear and maybe there's stress, and that's okay. Welcome it in. And then that will help allow you to really get the full picture of what's going on here and what it is that you want to do. And of course, I can help you along the way. I'm more than happy to support you. I've been making big decisions for a while now, so I'm more than happy to help propel you on your path. Again, our decision director of the DLPLC, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, is our brain's personal assistant, which carefully sifts through all of the information in our brain to help us make decisions and have some reasoning. The brain hack was MCC, Mind Compass Calibration, tuning into your values for decision alignment, and envisioning a mind compass of calibrating where you want to go in your life and asking, does this action or decision help accelerate me to where I want to be, or is it distracting me and holding me back? So that's the little wrap up. Thank you so much for joining me on Radically Rewired today. To continue this beautiful journey of exploration and self-discovery with me, hit that subscribe button and sign up for my newsletter to get notified about my newest episodes. You can sign up via the link in the description. If you've enjoyed this podcast, I would be so appreciative if you could share it with a friend, write a smashing review, because your reviews and kind words and shares help create a positive ripple effect in the world to expand to the amount of people who will have the opportunity to take these words and lessons and connect deeper with themselves and share their own light. So I'm so appreciative of you. And I'm so appreciative of my generous support from my sponsor, Amplify Your Voice. For more detailed episode notes and all the resources mentioned today, you can hop on down to the description. And each episode of Radically Rewired is a step towards getting off autopilot and soaring towards your dreams. I'm so grateful you're here, taking another step towards a life that feels extraordinary. And I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Let's continue on this transformative journey together, my friends. Until next time, keep rewiring, keep thriving, keep shining, and so much love to you. Bye.